2 minutes to the gentleman from New York, Congressman Suozzi.
The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today in strong support of H.R. 1425, the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Enhancement Act. Madam Speaker, the Democrats have been debating internally over the past couple of years, what's the best way to reduce health care costs? What's the best way to provide more access to people? What should we be doing? Some people push for Medicare for all, and people like myself say, let's build upon the Affordable Care Act. Let's try and figure out how can we provide more access and reduce drug costs. That's what we're doing here today. Meanwhile, our Republican colleagues are continuing to hurtle down a dark and misguided path to take away coverage from almost 20 million Americans in the middle of the worst economic and health crisis we've had in almost a century. I'm mystified by the strategy of my colleagues on the other side. What are they thinking? Now, they say that they want to protect people with pre-existing conditions. In fact, the president tweeted over the weekend saying he'll always protect people with pre-existing conditions. And I've heard colleagues of mine in Ways and Means say, we're convinced, we know now that we have to protect people with pre-existing conditions. Yet, what do they do? Not what they say, what do they do? Their policies don't match their rhetoric. In 2017, they tried to repeal the ACA altogether, which would take away people's pre-existing conditions. Now, in the midst of a pandemic that's already killed 130,000 Americans, this administration and the Republicans are pursuing a lawsuit to actually undo the Affordable Care Act. That will get rid of pre-existing conditions protections. It doesn't make any sense. Prescription drugs. The president said during his campaign and thereafter, when talking about Big Pharma, he said, these guys are getting away with murder. We should be negotiating prescription drug prices. Yet we've passed a bill before. We're doing it again today to actually negotiate prescription drug prices, and they're opposing it once again, and they're not doing anything to try and negotiate prescription drug prices. Today, Democrats are once again taking steps to reduce premiums, lower drug prices, and expand coverage. And I urge my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to support this bill, and I yield back.
Expired.